All right, so when you are trying to figure out the measure of the missing angle, and just so you know, sometimes I'll write out the word angle, but sometimes you will see this. This means the measure of angle 1, okay? So if I don't spell out the word, that's what that means. Anyway, there are 3 steps. First step is you need to choose. Are your angles supplementary, meaning they add up to 180, or are they congruent, which means they are equal? The symbol for congruent, however, is not an equal sign. This is the symbol. It's an equal sign with a little like weird squiggle on top, okay? So that means congruent. Once you figure that out, if they're supplementary, make sure you're writing your steps down. Please don't just watch. If they're supplementary, you are going to add the angles together and set equal to 180. Because that's what supplementary means. It means if you put both of those angles together, they're going to equal 180. If they are congruent, you're just going to set them equal to each other. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense yet. It will when I do the example. Set equal to each other, and then finally you will solve the equation like normal by using the 5 steps. A lot of you have not memorized the 5 steps. There should be a poster in your classroom with them, but you really, really, really need to memorize them. Solve equation using the 5 steps. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now, the next slide, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is the same problem from our Think About It, or the same diagram. But now we are going to determine the measurement of all of the angles formed from this transversal crossing the parallel lines. Today, all of our lines are parallel. You don't have to try to figure that out, okay? Remember, there's only 2 different angle measures when you have a parallel line being cut by a transversal. So let's see. We were given 2 angles. We were given angle A and we were given angle D. In the Think About It, you told me that these are vertical and congruent, okay? Since they are congruent, my notes tell me I need to set them equal to each other, because that's what congruent means. It means they are the same. So I'm going to write that 2x equals x plus 20, because these angles are the same. Now I'm going to solve this equation like normal. I don't need to distribute. I don't need to combine like terms. I do need to get my variables on one side, because I have a variable here and a variable here. I'm going to choose the smaller one. There's a 1 there if you want to see it. And I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So I'm left with x equals 20. That's not the answer. The question did not ask me for the value of x. The question asked me to determine the measure of all of these angles, okay? But now that I know x, I can figure it out, because this angle is 2x, okay? So 2 times 20 is 40. So angle A is 40 degrees. Now I'm going to fill in all of the angles that are equal to 40. So this vertical angle over here, angle D, is also 40. And it makes sense, right? Because 20 plus 20 is 40. From this angle, I'm going to go to the corresponding angle, and it's also 40. From here, I'm going to go to the vertical angle, and this is also 40. So those 4 angles equal 40 degrees. All of the other angles are going to be 180 minus 40, because they'll be supplementary. So all of the other angles are 140 degrees. And that's how you do these kinds of problems. I'm going to do another example on the next slide.